baseball, Hannah. After 7 years in Houston, Carlos Correa is heading to Minnesota. First reported by Fox 26 Houston. ESPN confirming the shortstop of the Twins are in agreement on a 3-year, $105.3 million contract that includes opt-outs after the first 2 seasons. Here's Jeff Passan with more on this stunning deal.
This is as big of a shocker as Deshaun Watson going to the Browns was. And Carlos Correa went into this offseason as the #1 free agent on the market. The market didn't materialize quite the same way that it did for Corey Seager, the other guy near the top. And in the end, the Minnesota Twins, who had freed up some money by trading Josh Donaldson to the Yankees, turned around and used it to fill their shortstop hole with Carlos Correa. Finished in 5th in the AL MVP race last season. Is a World Series champion, and the question at this point is just how long is he going to be in Minnesota, because he does have opt-outs after those first 2 seasons of the 3-year contract.
Houston sports team looking a mite different these days. Busy offseason for Minnesota, who acquired pitcher Sonny Gray from the Reds, then snagged catcher Gary Sanchez and third baseman Gio Urshela from the Yankees in a 5-player trade that sent Josh Donaldson to the Bronx.
Well, another $100 million deal late last night. Jeff Passan reporting the Phillies signed outfielder Nick Castellanos to a 5-year, $100 million contract. Just think about that. The 29-year-old coming off a huge season for the Reds, ranked in the top 10 of the National League in several offensive categories. And a look at the potential Phillies lineup, a number of all-stars highlighted, of course, by 2-time MVP Bryce Harper. Manager Joe Girardi might have to sort out that outfield. Castellanos has played almost exclusively in right field the last 4 seasons. It seems for now he's assuming the DH role. That could be the most likely scenario.
I'm still thinking.
Also in the news, a huge new contract for all-star shortstop Carlos Correa, the erstwhile Astro, now a Twin. A 3-year deal for $105 million. Correa, who's 27, has an opt-out after each season. And another big name from the 2021 World Series, switching teams this week. Freddie Freeman, the 2020 NL MVP, is no longer a Brave. Now with the Dodgers, he was introduced by LA yesterday. And some very sad news to report this morning. Our longtime colleague, John Clayton, one of the deans of NFL reporting, died yesterday at the age of 67. He spent 2 decades here at ESPN, and he covered the league for half a century. Story dominating the headlines this morning in the NFL, Deshaun Watson traded to the Browns 4 years ago. The Browns drafted Baker Mayfield first overall. Now he presumably will be traded as well. For more, we're joined by our own Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, why did the Browns give up so much in terms of picks, $230 million, also reputation? Watson is accused of wrongdoing by 22 women to make this happen. Why did they do it?
Well, I'm looking at your piece of paper there. You couldn't fit the number of Browns quarterbacks that would fit on that paper over the last decade. I mean, we're talking 20-plus players, everybody from Johnny Manziel to Cody Kessler to now Baker Mayfield. So, they've just wanted to solve this quarterback position and have some stability there for a very long time. So that's why they're giving him really a 5-year deal that's fully guaranteed. And other teams were not willing to do that because of the implications of the off-field issues. I think they're willing to go so far with renegotiating his old contract that he had with Houston, but to guarantee 4 and 5 years in the future, knowing that there are some issues still looming with the civil cases and some of those variables, weren't willing to go there. Cleveland was. And so that financial commitment was important to Watson. And from what I was hearing, the Atlanta Falcons felt like they were well positioned here, that he was going to be their quarterback. It was trending that way even as late as Thursday night.
How does Watson to the Browns reshape the AFC North? And for more, we welcome back to the show Dr. Justin Ben Abdallah of Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. We're making this an annual event, Dr. Ben Abdallah. You are our resident expert on Vast Madness. So right now, is business booming?
Certainly in my practice, we always see an uptick. I think probably almost double from last year even. And I don't know if that's pandemic related or if that's March Madness related, but we definitely see an uptick. And there's been studies nationally that have shown even 30 to 50% increase around this time.
To what do you attribute that? The increasing popularity of getting the procedure done at this time of year.
I think it's a case certainly of myth becoming legend. People always heard, oh, yeah, people get more vasectomies during March Madness because they want to sit back and watch some games. And then slowly but surely word of mouth picks up. And now we've got people advertising. We've got people knocking on the doors in February saying, hey, my team's in the big show. I want an excuse to watch the games at noon on a Thursday or something. So it works out great for everybody.
So the patients, they're very upfront about this. They tell you exactly why they're going in now.
Definitely. I mean, the guys I did today, both of them specifically chose this date, and same with next week. They were very deliberate about their timing.
Dr. Ben Abdallah, your patients, what is your advice to them after they have the procedure, as they are sitting on their couches at home watching the games? What do you tell them about how they should be mindful of the healing process?
Definitely. Well, there's definitely still a healing component. That's why it's a nice time to do this, because really you should be relaxed, sitting back, dust off the old high school jock strap, bring out the frozen peas that you weren't going to make anyway, and, put them right there just like that guy, and just make sure that, with some of these buzzer beaters, you're not jumping up too quickly. We talked about those ball bouncing, keep the ball bouncing to the guys on the court.
Dr. Ben Abdallah, I know you're very busy, so thank you for taking the time again this year to enlighten us.
Absolutely, anytime.
Just a few weeks ago, I was bereft. Why? Because Tom had done it. He'd said goodbye, but I didn't want to hear it. After 20 years of Brady this, Brady that, I just wasn't ready to handle the post-Tom era. Why? Why was I so upset? Because, I admit it, I have a Tom Brady obsession. The truth is, I have a Tom Brady obsession. Tom Brady, the greatest football player ever. After Brady announced his retirement, I managed to console myself, but only because it just didn't seem like it really was a done deal. Now, Brady is again saying in a different context, hey, wait a minute, I'm not buried yet. And for once in my life, I was right. It wasn't a done deal. And now, well, as we all know, Tom is back. And I'm not just relieved, I'm not just pleased, I feel centered again. Because the NFL without Tom Brady is lesser. It just is. Who else could do this?
Fires it to the right, down the right sideline, and caught at the 2015 10-5 touchdown, Patriots.
Or this.
Brady has his fifth. What a comeback.
Or this.
The defending Super Bowl champs have been knocked off. It all belongs to Tom Brady now.
And also, let's not forget generational loyalty. I am both old enough and young enough to be in the same general age demographic as Tom Brady. I'm 52, and I am much closer in age to Brady than he is to the vast majority of the players in the NFL. He's an inspiration to geezers like me. 45 and playing QB in the NFL? That's just ridiculous. Look at him doing this stuff in his dotage.
Brady throwing for Evans in his neighborhood. Got it. Touchdown.
Look, it would be ridiculous if he were 45 and he was just a backup who got onto the field maybe to hold for kicks. But to be 45, his birthday's in August, and to still be arguably the best player in the game, that is super ridiculous. But here's the thing. Why did he quit in the first place? Was it, as his own father suggested, because the media said he was going to?
A bunch of people reported that he was retiring, and before he was ready.
I don't know. Tom's father's theory seems to me unlikely. There are pleasers in this world, sure. I just don't think that Tom Brady is necessarily one of them. Maybe it's simply because, like just about everybody else in the world, Tom Brady is capable of changing his mind. It happens, especially in sports. Think about Roger Clemens.
I can tell you it's a privilege to be back. I'll be talking to y'all soon.
Roger Clemens is in George's box, and Roger Clemens is coming back. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Think about the great Kim Clijsters. Think about Brett Favre.
What matters is it's been a great career for me.
Think about Brett Favre.
Oh, what a tracer thrown by Brett Favre.
And Brett Favre.
Favre lost the left corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Why all the reversals? Why so many who decide to unretire? Well, see, life might be great when the cheering stops, as it must be for Tom Brady, but the cheering, it has still stopped. And that is irreplaceable. Which brings to mind a famous anecdote about Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe, the Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen of the early 1900s.